phone down.
Hey, this might be a paying gig too.
No, I haven't made any notes yet.
But that is a quirky software. We have trouble almost every Sunday,
Yeah.
but we've got a guy, Taylor Hicks.
Well, I tell you,
Is an
one
expert.
of the things we got done today is we blocked that thing from any updates
Yeah,
from midnight Saturday night to midnight Sunday night.
yeah. I think he doesn't do
And
any
I think
updates.
that's gonna, cause if once it updates, you're
Right.
messed, you know.
So we've got like, that ties over to the video.
Yeah.
And for the live stream,
I can see you now.
almost every Sunday.
We
have
can't
to,
see you, but that's okay.
we have to do a control alt
you
delete
doing?
in task
Pretty good yourself.
and restart
How's
Pro
things?
Presenter after all the videos up and
How
running,
old are your kids? Huh? How old are you?
and that fixes it. But you should
Different ages. I got one
Yeah,
19.
that's true.
I got a
So
17.
there's
15.
like there's
No,
a
16.
stage thing. We've
Yeah,
changed
the
one of
third-
our monitors in the back. They
Yeah.
had a monitor back there. and I couldn't-
All getting, yeah, no, they couldn't now, like, my
front
daughter's
church,
just
so
getting ready to get a car.
We put
Alright.
like
Yeah,
a
she just
60-inch
Give me-
monitor back there.
Get ready for her license
Give me
next
your
month.
attention, please. We are calling the meeting to order. We are live and have a quorum. And as normal, we'll start with the approval of the minutes of the July 17th regular meeting. Copy of it is in front of you in your stack there. If you need a minute to read it, that's fine.
Make a motion to approve.
Okay, Michael makes the motion to approve the minutes, so to have a second.
Second.
Second, Steve, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Looking at the review of the financial reports, we are starting out the new fiscal year and the water budget tracking report. We had some grant revenue that was on a project and got transferred in at 205,000 on the water. And that gave us over and above the revenue budgeted. But even at that, if you take out the grant revenue, we're a little bit short from what we budgeted by $7,000. Glenda and I talked earlier, and she has reviewed the August billing, and it looks like that we're back on track and a little bit ahead of budget for August. So we're not, yeah, so we should be good there. Expense wise, little early to tell exactly where we are, but we came in at 121 against budgeted 153. So we have a little bit more, even with lower revenue, and you take out the grant money, we're still ahead of budget on our income for the month of July. Under the sewer tracking, we're right on target with where we are there. Revenue on the sewer is right where we budgeted, a little bit short, but we made up for it in some of the other operating revenue and interest and so forth.
Please.
Under the expenses, there was a couple of items that I noticed, and Glenda explained to me that she had gotten in some insurance payments and things on some damage that was turned in, and that gave us
Herman Gordon.
Herman Gordon and some negative expenses in those two accounts as we got some payback on something that we had budgeted and paid last year, so. So all of that revenue is looking good, and then the July trial balance report, our total overall cash balance is down a little bit from last year, but we're still at $1,546,384 going into August in this year. On the city infrastructure advance, we're continuing to pay the $5,000 a month, and that's now down to $244,834.
And another thing I wanted to mention, I called today, well, they didn't call me back, but on the water meter loan, I thought that our last payment was in July, but then another one came out this month. So I got to looking back, and I know it's a 5-year loan. So they haven't called me back, but what I've calculated is there should be 2 more payments. And then, but they'll call me and tell me, I called this morning, but no one's called me yet.
And then the loan's done,
And what?
and the loan is done,
Yes,
and how much?
because
were we
it was a
paying it?
5-year. How
Yeah.
much what?
How much per month were we paying it, or was it an annual payment?
No,
Like-
it was $7,448. It was about 90 something. I mean, it has varied over the 5 years, but
Okay.
it was about 90 something a year. It's going to be enough to make one of the payments on the wastewater treatment plant. So get rid of that. So we start making that. So, I mean, that'll be good.
Good. All right.
Sure. We'll have that one paid off. Be great.
All right, on the project status updates, looking at that, Chad sent us an email today with some good information on that. On the Lone Valley Road, we talked about that. All of that is up to date. All they like finishing it is some grass issues, settlement areas, getting things back in order from where they had installed the right of way, and the construction of the remaining box pad is still remaining there. And we'll talk about this in a minute, but we still have the 200,000 remaining on that grant to utilize in another area. And I look back at the minutes from last meeting, and we made a motion in the second to advise them to give us an estimate on the Little Rock lane, and I don't know that was conveyed to Chad to do that, because he asked that if we wanted to do that, they were willing to do the engineering for us. So I guess you want me to call him and tell him that, or does that need to come from Bobby or the city, or how does that need to work, Gene?
I can do it right now.
Okay,
We'll do it right now.
do it right now. Yeah. We have on the, I'll move on while he's doing that. On the influent lift station, Bobby, you might want to talk about that a little bit. That's pretty good shape, coming along, but still has some issues.
There's some gate issues on it that are needing to be tightened up and redone. And then once that's done, then we can do the tie-in.
And we had gate issues last month too, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're still fixing them.
Okay,
Yeah.
so is that reasonable? It would be a month.
Yeah, cause I mean, it's been taken, they're already installed, so they're having to
Okay,
break out stuff, redo stuff,
okay.
but now we're waiting because I guess the surety group came. Now we're on hold again. until they say we can start back to fix it.
Yeah.
But other than that,
Uh,
You want to try to elaborate on that?
well, I guess, I mean, I'm not too keen on the security or whatever, and I guess they're kind of over the whole project from the beginning, I guess. And they took pictures and looked at everything that was going on, and they're all in for continuing to repair it, but he wants to get back with us until we can start it.
Okay,
But
so,
it's on it's on a rush, is what it said.
okay, so the original contractor installed that.
yes.
And we thought it was properly installed. But now we got a leak and it's gotta be reinstalled. That was not foreseen. It wasn't part of the new contractor's scope of work and services. So that's when it pops out, so we understand every component of expenditures that we've done. And Bobby's rightfully, us too, frustrated that here we are in a holding pattern again, where we just need to get that done.
Right.
And so.
But they're aware of, they're aware of the rush, so.
Okay. That's good.
So hopefully.
Ted's given us a tentative date of the end of September. That we could be totally complete with that. Lagoon Halos, Bobby, I think you got, you're working on sale 2.
So too, yeah, it's he should be scooping out tomorrow.
Okay,
It all looked like it's pretty dried up. So
right up.
yeah, Dwight said he's gonna start hauling tomorrow.
And then once that's completed, then you'll start on sale 3,
And once we
doing the
get that,
same thing.
yeah, when we get that one emptied, we'll start draining 3. I've already talked to RTD and they're gonna come in and start on that one while we're draining the other one.
Oh, okay. Good, because they're gonna go to Catawba first.
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
They couldn't decide if they were gonna do us and then go to Catawba and then come back or whatever. Just depends on how quick we can get out of there.
Oh, okay. So they're working.
But they're ready to go.
Catawba and us together and making sure that gets done.
Some questions, but do you have to have that one, like the liner back in and get right
They're putting the liner.
I know.
We gotta take
Do
it
you
out.
have to have that one complete before you can start doing the other, like draining the other one?
No, once it, like tomorrow, he's gonna start, once he starts removing the sludge, we're gonna start draining the other.
You got 4.
So you have 2 cells down.
Yeah, I have 2 cells. I'm running with 3 right
I
now.
was like, can you have two cells?
Yeah,
In August, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, in August, yes.
Yeah.
Not later on.
and if they can get it done before it starts back
Yeah.
raining,
I hope
needs to
so.
be done, yeah. Okay, water plant improvements, the high service pumps, VFDs and controls have been replaced. The high service pumps and shutoff valves inside the pump building have been replaced. The main shutoff valves, flow meters and chlorine analyzer replacement is currently ongoing.
Where are we now? What are we doing this replacement? Where's
Water
the
plant.
So water, this is the water plant, yeah.
This is the thing that affected it.
Yeah. And this week has been interesting, I
Yeah.
think, in the plant area. Even the mayor complained to me that he was losing
Mayor's just complaining, surely not. No, I wasn't,
No,
I mean, I wasn't on the main lines when you got a project change out like that and the project's not going the best in the world.
Yeah,
Everybody's watching you, it gets pretty stressful.
it does that.
So you got acquainted with all the water people in the plants, right, Bobby?
What's that?
I said, you got acquainted.
Oh,
with
yeah,
all
yeah,
the
yeah,
water
yeah.
people.
I got numbers now.
It's just- They don't need you if it's working.
Some of them I don't even know who they are. but
Don't
they
use
text me.
They don't need you if it's working.
I know exactly. I don't hear from you. What? All of a sudden it's not, then I know everybody.
He just figured out that, we just figured out that one of them was Jeremy, that he didn't.
Yeah, I didn't know who it was, but I was talking to him.
Jeremy Conf.
Yeah, he texted me. I guess I didn't have his number in the phone for some reason. I was like, "Who is this guy?"
Who are you?
Okay, wastewater treatment plant filter media replacement, Bobby, what?
That's, yeah, it's been awarded, it's just ready to be signed and we'll be doing that soon.
You signed that one, someone does. You signed the contract, but I forgot to have you sign the notice to proceed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Guys gonna do that right now?
All of those things that we're doing there is getting the water plant back up to the top notch. And also helping with the dual system we're running now and getting that all in place and up and going. So once we get all of this done, should be able to feed the plants what they need, feed the city what it
Mhm.
needs. And
With a lot more ease.
and clean up anything that wasn't cleaning up with the filters and everything, so we should.
Dual system, is this the one we kind of discovered we could create a dual system? We discovered something when we had a big accident long ago.
Yeah, we had a leak. But they had a dual system for a long time, but didn't use it.
Right,
Yeah. it
And then
wasn't-
when we had the
it wasn't
leak,
working.
we got in trouble.
yeah.
So we needed to back up. Or we dodged trouble, I guess. We had our water tank almost empty.
Yes.
Mhm.
And this is all addressing that. Awesome. And we're there.
I think.
Yeah,
so.
almost. I
Yeah.
mean,
Almost.
I can actually do it by hand. I can't
Yes.
computerize it yet.
Got
but-
it, got it.
But actually, yeah, I can, and it's this little situation we were in this week
Yes,
actually helped out because I was using my high service pumps to
good.
feed everything.
Well, good.
And I could turn the booster station down. for all.
So it's almost good for you to
Yeah,
see that it works or
yeah. And
can't.
once this is in, if one of them goes down, the other can take over.
I love it.
Yeah, that's really
That's
good.
exciting.
That's good.
It's just, it'll be
Yeah.
just consistent service, which is what everybody wants, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Helps the reliability,
Yeah,
increases flexibility.
Mhm.
credibility.
Yes, that too.
All right, along with that, is, Chad brought up the fact that the Marshall Gaming is, progressing, currently, working on the lift station, force main installation at the site. And, based on the current work schedule, you think that, it'll be completed, but we don't have a completion date in there. What they're doing for the sewer to tie in and also for water, get it tied in, so. That's,
And I have to mention this, or am I talking loud enough? I have to mention this or I'll forget it. At our age, I have to say it when I think it, but they've got a sister facility very similar to Marshall Yards at Owensboro or somewhere,
Mhm.
right? So could we not get something on their water usage?
I think it's in Christian County, isn't it? Didn't you, haven't you been to it? The other facility here that's
Well,
close to
there's
us.
you got Oak Grove.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Which is
saying.
the
Oak
main
Grove.
facility.
that's down around Clarksville.
And we're talking, he's talking about one that's close to Owensboro.
Okay,
Yeah.
a different one.
Well, it's a like site. It's
I see.
Similar.
very similar size, so I know it's kind of hard, but it'd be nice if we had if it was just a good solid guess of, especially if we're gonna do any kind of study on what kind of water usage they're using. So we could build that into any of our formulations.
Have they provided a projection? Marshall Yards.
Of water usage.
Yeah.
If
We know they provided the
Yeah.
design.
If they have, if they did, I haven't seen it. Chad. knows
Okay.
about it. Well, no, they got a good sized meeting.
I mean, they knew what
I think
kind of
four
meter,
acre.
what kind of basin we're gonna put in and everything, so. I don't have anything on that.
Don't send it up for that.
Well,
Yeah.
the MEP design of a building is based on the facility size, the fixtures attached, what is capable of doing.
Mm.
What you're really asking for, I believe,
It's operation.
is operationally. And that would have to do with the volume of the whole infernal, like here, would that be, so we can ask them.
Yeah.
And then
It'll be a ballpark figure, I
their
understand.
manager comes to the city council meetings. Monitoring events in the city, we know who he is. We can ask him for a prediction of what the water consumption is.
Yeah.
And he probably won't know, but we got people to find out.
Yeah, it'd just be nice to have a ballpark figure on that.
But they should have a very good idea. So that would be a prediction of actual usage.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. The Kentucky Dam Village sewer connection is one of the going projects, and I'm kind of jumping down a little bit in the agenda to the discussion of looking ahead. They have said that they have pretty much completed their work there on the site for the tightening up all their sewer leaks and so forth and so on. The rehabilitation work has been done, and I guess we need to have a conversation based on the numbers and the reports that we have gotten from them, estimates of what impact it may have on our sewer system and everything, to tie them into to that with the as a group and with Chad potentially. He says Rivercrest is prepared to review this at the city's direction. In general, his scope of work would include review of the US 62 lift station capacity, review of capacity sewer from Long Valley Road to Cypress Lakes lift station, review of Cypress Lakes lift station and force main capabilities, review of interceptor sewer capacity downstream to the wastewater treatment plant, and recommendations and estimated cost for system improvements to handle the additional flows from Kentucky Dam Village.
He says he needs that, he needs to do it. What was your comment?
He's saying that if we approve him to do that, and he would take what information he has gleaned from them, which is not and then he would run it through our system to make sure that we've got the proper and what we would have to do to meet those flows and everything and to handle it.
So they're serviced by North Marshall, right? North Marshall Water.
That's water, not sewer.
Water, but we could get a count of how much water they're using from that end. It wouldn't have counted.
They've got information that they took readings during rainfalls and so forth, and what the sewer flow, estimated sewer flow is at certain peaks, but I don't know it's necessarily at high peak or low peak, but they've got that information. The engineering firm does have that.
Mhm.
So these conversations have been going for quite a while. And they were given a list of tasks to do. With some, I'm going to choose my words carefully here. They've been complying with the list of things they were told to
That's
do.
correct.
And that surprises some people that they've stayed on top of it.
It does.
Done that.
Mhm.
So they're ready to move this conversation to the next level with the submission of that report. Now, we will have, if whatever happens here, if there is a tie-in, there will be an agreed to contract is my understanding is technology is there to meter the flow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the flow from them will be metered. And then, the details of the contract are going to have to be carefully studied and make sure it fits and what these are appear to me. Cause I wasn't in on, this conversation's been going long enough that I haven't really been part of, certainly not the start of them. These are to make sure that as we embark on this, that we understand all the infrastructure is going to be required to support it.
Right, and
That we can identify what changes are gonna be required and understand what we're going to maintain as we enter into this conversation. Good summary? Okay. But supposedly, they had a big problem with what,
I know.
I
Yeah.
I want to use I&I without knowing what the acronym stands for.
Intrusion and infiltration.
Okay. So they've supposedly made pretty big moves on that,
Mhm. What is it?
but there's a lot of issues there. But on the other hand, in my view, State Park doesn't necessarily need to be running a waste treatment plant. And then we've got the capacity and we can do it. We're looking for volume, so maybe there's something we can work out.
My concern is maintenance, and I would be a key issue. I'd like to see that in contract. When their I gets to a certain level, they've got to put money back in. If they don't, we're not gonna serve you. You're gonna have to figure out another way to do this. Of course, we're it, right? They are gonna put it in our lap.
It's really kind of a different question than that.
Okay,
Here's the question. If there's a flow meter and they're being charged on the flow,
yes,
so they have I&I, that's okay. They're gonna get charged for it
okay,
within limits. Now, they have a massive amounts of I&I and the systems cannot handle it. Our systems between here and here back up and overflow and
Yes.
create issues.
that's the
That's an
concern.
issue. So on the financial side, it's not as big an issue as it is on.
We're metering it off.
Well, the capability side and making sure we stay in compliance.
Yes,
So if we're trying to, just forget it's a state park for a minute, that looks a lot like a city when you drive through it, right? So it looks like houses, looks like roads, looks like
Yeah.
crossings, and so they've got to maintain that. But we're the ones that are ultimately, if they don't do a good job of that, then we will have a hard time when we're having our own I&I concerns, making sure our system's tight
Yep.
during those rainfall events. If they're having a bad problem, it just adds to it, and then you start being unable with the lift stations, with the capacity of the lines, with all that stuff, and then you wind up in the system having reportable issues, and that's a problem.
so is I for us and just our worst rain we've ever had, Bobby? How did our system do in your short time here?
I mean,
The biggest rain you've had, how would we do?
Well, that's the part with the influent lift station is to handle the I&I because it goes into the lift station, fills it up, and
Okay,
it goes out into the flow as over time as opposed to.
you bank it
Discussion
up
in
and
there
then
all at
increment. I got it. And our system's been good in your short time here?
well, no, we've had some overflows.
Okay.
I mean. on some
Well, we
big
don't have
rains.
the influent lift station working
Right.
yet.
Okay, so you don't know
Our
yet.
whole system, yeah, we.
We had problems.
Yeah.
And this
And-
influent lift station, tell me where it is again, exactly the one you're speaking of,
The new one.
Then you,
which is right down there at the,
yeah,
It's the
So
big
right across
concrete
from
vault.
that thing we had to work on a few times.
Yeah.
Yes.
Got it.
early on, one of the considerations, I think, if I remember correctly, was who builds and is responsible for the lift station.
That's right.
That if that thing malfunctions, then you got a liability issue.
And I'm gonna just guess. I mean, it's gonna be a negotiated agreement.
Right, exactly right.
And for me, I think that the cost of tying in the capital investment and building it is less important. They're probably not gonna want to maintain it.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be the negotiated contract, if who does the lift station belong to? How do you defray maintenance costs? Do you defray them at all?
Mhm.
Because if you're charging on what you're taking in and you've increased your flow, how does that, and what do you get for that? Well, we gave you a brand new lift station.
Mhm.
If the lift
Yeah.
station's built.
Yeah.
and it meets your standards,
Yeah.
and I'm paying you to take my flow, then the maintenance going forward is on you.
Mhm.
And so that's gotta be figured out,
Yeah,
and that's a major part.
And
of it.
everything from there to the
Yeah.
lagoons gets affected.
Mhm.
You know, the down-
Well, I mean, that can be negotiated in the sewer rate too, right?
Yes,
To say,
Mhm.
well, if you want us to maintain that, that ain't free.
well, I mean, the sewer
And
rate's
that's-
gonna have a price.
Mhm.
And then
Where is this lift station gonna be?
Don't know yet. I mean, it's not been designed. It's been talked about somewhere out there
it's
around
in the Highway 62 corridor
62.
Understand. Understand.
somewhere.
Yeah, so that's, again, my experience, they're good at doing stuff. But I haven't always seen, just in general, maintaining things.
Yeah.
It's not, and again, it's political, it's how much money they get sometimes every year, and who's governor. How much interest there is in the parks. It's just, it's a weird world. It's another kind of government.
Down there at the bottom of the hill by JNAP.
Yes, I know, yeah.
So during our 100-year plus rainfall event we had this spring, sit there and we watched those manways go under down there. And they're gasketed and tied down, so they're designed to go under without just draining the whole swamp. But so the lift station design is going to be somewhere that will have to take into account the flood elevations down through there.
Mhm.
So that's going to work.
I mean, they are using a excellent engineering firm. Strand is one of the top.
You're saying the state is
Yes.
great.
Yeah, but then
Good to
you're
hear.
gonna come by the truck stops and then you're gonna come by Marshall Yards and probably maybe a hotel or two. So
Yes, capacity.
it's
Gotta pay
yeah,
capacity there.
the engineering is really.
So I guess we need to tell Chad and them to continue
Mhm.
moving forward and get us the information that we need to make a decision with. Would be my vote.
Do you need that in the form of a motion or a recommendation or whatever we do?
I think it would probably be good to do that.
I make that motion to get the engineering on top of this. With the idea that it's all the downflow, it's not just there. It's everything past it too.
Yeah, that could grow,
Yeah.
we hope.
But I mean, you're gonna have it from the dam, you're gonna have it from the truck stops, you're gonna have it from Marshall Yards.
And
you get a
whatever comes
motel-
with Marshall
Hotel in
Yards.
there, will it feed down that court? So you're gonna feed that down through there, so, yeah, it's,
I'm with it,
I mean,
and I'll second your motion.
it's beyond my math.
Yeah.
It may not be yours, cause math teacher, but that gets beyond
Oh,
my
it's
math.
like a bunch of engineers around here, it's beyond that.
Bruce can handle that.
Motion and second. Is there any other discussion on it?
Good
If
problem.
not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Okay. That'd be another thing to notify Chad on that we're gonna.
It's a good project, it's a good problem to have, but it is, it's gonna require some,
Well, it can also help us pay for the influent lift station.
absolutely.
Okay. Another item was that we've been kicking around for another year or so is the Cypress Lakes meter vault. According to Chad, the surveying of that property down there has been done by NOS surveying. And they've kind of know where the actual property line is, there. And it is, very close to the property that we're talking about. Where we're setting the meter, which is the owner of the property is, say the lease doesn't want us to put a meter there. But yet the line has been running there for years and years and years, so we've been talking about it, and Gene has been talking to legal and so forth about what to do
I
about that.
haven't got a clear direction on that. There's not a full understand. So the line's in the ground. Because the line's in the ground, it's got a right of way. So with a meter this size and the box this size, does that right of way have to be modified? Some will tell you no, some will tell you yes. So you've got an underground line, and the right of way means if something happens to that line, we can excavate it, service it, maintain it, whatever. So it's been in the ground for so long that it's de facto, and I don't know the legal terminology that that's what you do. And there's nobody that would really, in my view, my desire actually would be that, install a meter and a water line is part and parcel to having that right of way. But it is different. It is larger. So I can't really find direct guidance there. And so what Chad is proposing is that we engage nodes to ascertain exactly where the property line is. That doesn't end the discussion. This is another component of making the right decision moving forward. But it's actually expense, which I was hoping to avoid and really didn't think matters to this case so much, but it is an input. And it's going to be a few $100, but it's not a break the bank amount.
Mm.
Not
It's
exactly.
on the other side of the property line.
Do what?
Is there another property on the other side? You said there's a property line here.
Well, so Cypress Lakes wants the meter. They don't have any problems with installing the meter.
What they want to do is take that 1 meter and feed the whole plant into that 1 meter and pay us 1 bill,
Mhm.
which now we are
Yeah,
Cypress
got
Lake,
it.
the new owners of Cypress Lake.
Understand, okay.
And it also takes a liability off of us because some of those water lines are underneath the trailers parked there. And if they happen to blow a line, which one did a few years back, that went into up through the floor of the trailer inside.
Really?
So there is an advantage for us to spend a little bit of money to try to get this resolved, to get us off the liability and to get them a meter. Now, how they bill inside Cypress Lakes to the people, that's their problem, not ours.
Right.
He prescriptive easements, was that the term?
Yep,
Gene?
I think so.
Yeah, okay, that's what he put in his thing.
So I think we should probably go ahead and get the property line survey. And that's actually kind of a change in my stand on the issue over a few weeks, over a few months.
Do you need a motion?
I mean, we can, if you guys want to agree with it, they can, but I think we should do it. Take a motion and the vote in to support that expenditure.
So move that we do that.
And
Bill,
if somebody thinks we should just go ahead and do it,
Yeah.
we could try it if you wanted to. Okay.
We'll recommend it. He's got a motion. I'll second. Somebody else jumps on it, so
all
it'll
right,
be on record.
okay, all right, got a motion and a second to hire Nos surveying to check where the property line is at Cypress Lakes.
Yeah.
In relationship to the water
To
line,
the water line, to the meter,
so
installation of the meter.
all in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Approved by like sign. Okay. All
And
right,
it's always easy to seek advice for people who don't have to do the work. Oh, we just do it this way. Oh, really?
Yeah, or live with consequences, right?
so NOS have already done some surveying, so it shouldn't take much to them to determine what we need to know, so.
Yeah, I think it's,
Who,
guessing.
who takes that responsibility of notifying NOS? Is that you, Bobby, or Gene, or?
Here, I'll do that for you. I don't mind.
I'm gonna talk to them.
Okay. We'll get it. We'll get it.
Okay. Uh. And LWD cutoff road water main replacement, right now, there's no change in that other than we continue to repair it as it blows periodically, so.
Yeah, I got 2 more to fix on it next week.
Yeah.
2 more small leaks. One's underneath that hard jump. Up there close towards, where the gate used to be for.
Yep.
Whatever it was.
Incinerator.
So that's gonna be interesting.
Yep. Okay. All right, that's an update on most of the projects, some that were going on and some that are not. One other item, Gene, I put on here, I don't know where we are with this. Has there been anything more done on the Duke TVA contract?
No, Greg and I have talked about it way back, but that needs to move forward. I've been on a tour. I do know, I have identified the person that needs to be the pivot person within TVA to talk about that.
So, I mean, I think it would be behoove us, it's 20-year plus old contract and it's changed ownership and whatever we decide to do money wise or not at all, we just need to have a new contract, I think, with the current owner. Yeah.
I think it'd be
Well,
reasonable.
I have done some other thing on that, by the way, too. TVA needs that water line. It needs that capability. I question, and I may have already reported, I think I've already reported that to this board. They have fuel oil capability and they keep fresh fuel in their tanks. So it's something that the manager, knows that's in his mission. And in order to burn fuel, he needs a large quantity of water of that infrastructure with very little notice. So what, at one time it was hypothesized that they're burning natural gas and they'll never use that. That may be the case, but it's certainly part of his mission. There's only just a very small handful of units that have the capability of using fuel oil to generate power, and it's in his mission to do that. So he's gonna maintain that capability. That we've identified the parties to talk to, and we know that it's still a vibrant issue. Is not something of the past, and they need a phone number to call and turn it on in a certain, so we need to reopen that conversation. I think I had those were this last spring.
I thought the issue too was, are they using any water? I mean, are they paying us anything?
Well, that is the issue.
You know,
They need the infrastructure. They need the capability.
are we maintaining some of that infrastructure?
We are maintaining some of that infrastructure. We're actually having cost on some of that infrastructure.
Yes.
And we need to make sure that we remain that, on pretty short notice, but if you're not utilizing water, there's no cash flow being generated.
Right, and also if the infrastructure is not being used, is that cause any issues?
Yes.
Rusting, whatever.
Yeah, it's better if it's used.
So, yeah, I mean, throw that in the conversation too, for sure. But
So it has to do, it's almost like probably, you may be familiar with utility bills, it's like a demand charge. Okay.
Yep.
So, and it's not the same as that because we are going through and registering a test fire that shows the demand on any kind of real frequency. You say, hey, based on this,
I mean, they need a test run on this every now and then? The
I think they
capability,
do a test run periodically.
And so they do
Yeah.
use some water occasionally.
Yeah, we
I
gave
think
them,
that's
cause
the
we
issue.
gave them some last week.
Okay, so okay,
And
They have-
and they maintain tanks with water in
Yes.
it.
Yeah, they use their tanks and then when they need to fill them up, they call.
gotcha.
Feed them
They've got the
about half a
tankage,
day.
they've got the tankage to support a test rate.
Got it.
So if we're an ongoing situation, then the tankage is gonna be plummet.
You know, it's, to me, it sounds like a maintenance fee needs to be.
But we
Considered
had to,
in the
we
next
had to do
contract.
some repair and
Mhm.
whatnot, replace a meter or do something back when Tim was here.
Yeah, we did
And
replace
we
the
did-
meter. Yeah. we
Yeah,
did.
and we didn't, the cost of doing that was a lot more than what revenue we get from them. So,
Then we had to rehab the generator too for 'em.
right.
So, I mean, you got a list of all those at some point. Throw that at Gene when he's ready for it, when he's negotiating, hey, but these are the costs we've incurred. Just
Well,
having this sit here, you know,
Gene is not,
not go negotiating.
well, no, I negotiate a lot of things a lot of different times, but I'm not, I don't get paid for that. Yeah, that's one of those things that, you know, we don't need to be reinventing the wheel, and you also have to have a certain amount of expertise in
Understood.
taking care of it. And quite frankly, the previous contract was centered around Duke
All right,
providing funds, and city executing infrastructure that the city owned. And it wasn't looking toward ongoing supplier, consumer relationship. It wasn't a purchasing.
At the very beginning.
The focus of that negotiated contract was not focused as much on ongoing customer supplier relationship as it was capital expenditure and making sure you had the capital installed right, how you monitored the project, how change orders were handled. So it was very focused on the task at hand. And the task at hand is somewhat irrelevant now. Well, not irrelevant, wrong word, but it's not as, you have what you have, and so now, you know, modifications, how you pass on modifications. So, you know, if you're seeing revenue and modernization of lines, maintenance of lines, that should be built into your fee structure.
That's right.
Right, so but if you don't have any flow, and you don't have any fees being garnered, so how do you pay for the refurb of the generator? How do you pay for the flow meter? How do you do these things that if you were using it, that would flow through your usage stream? So it's not any different. I mean, it's very similar to what we're familiar with on electrical business on demands. And I'm gonna leave that there.
Yeah.
And we know who we should be the point person within TVA, which was a question.
Yep.
We know that they very much require us to fulfill that flow, and we can. Okay. And so it's not something we're gonna be able to drop off and maybe reutilize that infrastructure for something else. They need it for this going forward. So those are two big points that are
Right.
that were out there. So those have been answered. Now it's time to approach them and see what we can do. That brings up another interesting point though. When we have people who are using city water to tie into their sprinkler systems,
Okay,
so what's our fee structure on that? And we need to do some same size comparison on that, see what we do versus others. So, you know, we have a tap on fee. For
they tie in where to water their,
so in our city water, if there's a building that comes in and needs a sprinkler. Okay, it needs to be, say it has an H classification, they have need of it's a hotel. Or maybe an industrial thing where you need a sprinkler,
yeah,
they tie their sprinkler systems into the city system. And they use.
unmetered,
Yes,
Mhm.
so they use it, so they'll do like a flow test to see what the capability of the water main is. And then when they tie in, there's fees, there's tap on fees that are paid depending upon, does it matter the size? It doesn't matter the size currently.
No, apparently not.
So right now, our tap on fee is not reflective of the size of the tap fee. Okay, so a sprinkler system doesn't use any water. As long as there's not a fire
Or a leak.
or a malfunction.
Yeah.
So it's just sitting there idling on the city water main. There's no meter in that line.
talking about a fire sprinkler when you.
Fire sprinkler.
Oh, thank you. I'm thinking my yard.
No, no.
I got a sprinkler in my front yard. You're charging me for that.
Yes, you do get charged for that.
But you're talking
I'm talking about
Thank
fire
you.
sprinklers.
Thank you.
I'm sorry,
I'm with you now.
I'm sorry.
That's right.
Was it,
Fire
everybody,
Yeah, I'm with you.
Everybody okay? there you go.
Appreciate it.
A little lesson in negotiation right there. You gotta get the language right. So that is something that we probably need to take a look at, see what other systems do.
I got
That's-
some recorded.
Yeah, so Bobby has been working to get some other stuff
Yeah, but
together.
they separately meter, that's
Well,
what.
they're not even metered, it's just monthly charge on the side of the
Oh,
line.
is it? Well, we don't have a charge. We put in a meter, we're gonna charge something
Right,
for it.
yeah.
Well, so in that case, when you design your water system, the meters of restriction of flow. And you're gonna go, you better not be having use very frequently on that. So you're not gonna have any meter usage, so the expense of the meter is kind of irrelevant. So some systems charge a monthly fee, and that's basically for maintaining a demand
Right,
capability for
that's
you.
right.
Yep.
And we don't, that's one of the things that we've talked about in the past, that's an item that's been identified for potential revenue growth. And it's a real cost.
Yeah, yeah.
It is. Yeah.
And it's
So,
more probable than it's ever been now.
Okay. It's one of the items that we would want to talk about as far as along with other things that Bobby's got on his list over there, little odds and ends that
Oh,
not on this agenda, but we'll get to them in a later date to look at those. You know, okay,
Ford Squares down there, that's the subject. Additional activity in Ford Square.
oh. I just curious if there's been any more. Activity on some of the, potential. Because
know
of
any-
Marshall Yards, is there anything?
you know,
going
anything
on?
actual.
Anybody
what-
bought any property or signed any?
Well, what I do understand is there are lots in Ford Square that have been up for sale for a long time and now they've been bought. And that two groups of lots are owned by people who are known to build hotels. I say that with confidence. Now, as far as anybody making an announcement or trying to set a date,
Mhm.
there's nothing been official there. And I thought of this when we talked about, let's predict the usage of the gaming center, Churchill. Let's predict that usage. And then you say, okay, you got a potential, more heads and beds in the immediate area at this interstate intersection, because we got other amenities there. Maybe we'll have a higher occupancy rate. And so what does that do to our water demand? That's where I went when you brought that up, Steve. But we did look at the size of the water main that comes up Long Valley Road. And this is from a design perspective. The belief is there's enough water capacity on that line that it's going to take care of the design point. Okay. That's on the supply side. I don't have as clear of an answer on the wastewater side. So the activity that may or may not be at Ford's Crossing, how does that impact the infrastructure improvement out to Kentucky Dam Village? I think we were saying it was pretty minimal in comparison, that we had capacity at the various lift stations.
I think that's what Chad has said.
But there's a lot of moving parts there.
Mhm.
There's a lot of moving parts on putting that puzzle together. So you got flows from way on up 62 that you're having to maybe build some pumping capacity. And then, oh, by the way, we got two here we think we can easily put in. Well, maybe it's not as easy now. So it's the chicken and egg sort of thing. Which one comes first and where do you trigger having to do some infrastructure improvement? So that's I don't design those sorts of things, but we know people who do. And so on the supply side, I've taken a pretty good look at it. And I believe we're okay on the water side. On the wastewater side, like I said, there's a lot of moving parts in it all. That has to factor in to the Kentucky Dam Village conversation.
Yeah.
So, and there's gonna be a percent likelihood, like I said, I mean, property has been transferred, certain people hold it. And you don't know what their intent's gonna be until they announce something and start talking to the zoning folks and start, submitting plans and EP and that sort of thing. And even then, you really don't know long-term, well, we hope, long-term, it'll be very successful and the facility they build would have a normal, maybe even high utilization, right? So, and then you can start predicting flows. A lot of good problems to have there.
Yes. Yeah.
Has there been engagement with the hotels that are already locally here? You know, and just in terms of, hey, this thing's coming. Are you guys gonna be ready for them? The hotels that are in place right around it, I can't remember their names, but
I can only assume there has been conversations.
you don't know them, okay. That just seems like, it's a good opportunity to gussy
Oh,
out.
it's great.
Yeah,
And you gotta figure if occupancy goes up, cash flow goes up, things get gussied up.
Right.
Everything's moving.
wait and see on that side, that's true. Show me the money.
All right, line item 6 on the agenda, we need to talk a little bit about the Calvert City Utilities and the University of Louisville study that was presented to us. We talked about it at the last meeting. Since then, the group from Louisville have come to the city council and talked to the city council. No action was taken by the city council. My understanding is that it's not really a city council decision to make. It would be more of a water sewer board decision to make whether we allow the sampling or not. But that's one of the things that we need to talk a little bit about and decide what we want to do in that area or not do. There's some good scientific things that they're doing, but then there's also outfall from news medias and other things that makes it a bad for the city, in my opinion. So
I'd be very interested to know how you guys feel about it. And it's, and they brought it in and dumped it on the council. The council's leaders of the community. You know, they are elected leaders and they need to know straight from U of L what this means. I think they did a pretty good job of summarizing what the Grand Rivers town hall meeting was. And so the 6 elected members of the council got that. I believe that some of the media don't know how really what expectations are. And I haven't talked to all the council members yet, but I've talked to some of them.
First of all, let me say, Mayor, I understand the position that puts people in, because you're kind of danged if you do and danged if you don't. But I personally am not aware of one single study done by a university or a government agency that has put Calvert City in a favorable light. But I will yield if you know of any of these. My biggest concern.
Wait a minute, yield to me.
Okay, yield.
When Nova in the 90s came out with Cancer City,
Mhm.
you know, and this was really trashness. There was a study of community members and compared to a community far away from your Trigg County, I think,
Mhm.
and compared our health to their health, did blood work, ran things to see how it was. Karen and I participated, my wife and I participated.
Mhm.
And that study's result showed not a major significant difference.
Who did the study and who
I'm
hired?
not sure, can't remember all that. I don't have all the details.
Yeah.
But it was a legitimate study and it had a result. It was sent to us. I'm sure it was publicized. Probably people didn't show much interest in it because it didn't have those
That's right.
salacious results. Continue on. Thank you.
It's just, once you have the data, you have it. Whether it's good or bad, or you can't put, what is it, put the genie back in the bottle kind of thing. So I think it's reason for some real concern if it doesn't come out productive, especially on the heels of EPA things and other things that have happened, you know. You know what I'm saying? So you know, we get this stuff about certain things at the plants in Met, then that gets used against us to take away the elementary school. Yeah. So that's my concern, is once you got it, you got it. And you can't put it back in the bottle, it's there. But on the other side, the well-being of our community should be a part of our decision-making process. If there is something there that we need to address, there is a argument that we should have that information so that we can better serve our community. So it's a difficult position to be put in. And especially for the mayor and others that, well, what are you trying to, I mean, you know, that's what Dan was referring to, the media and all the stuff you get into it is, you know, it just becomes, it takes on a life of its own. So that's my concern.
Well, for me, you know, I want to know more about the study and who's conducting it, what is their agenda in terms of, you know, and can they get data that we all can believe in, number one. And, you know, those are the kind of questions I'd be asking for me. In terms of the data, once it's out there, totally agree that some people have an agenda and they'll use that data for whatever their agenda is. You know, and that's not going to change. And it's not going to be hell for me. I'm a retired dude in Calvert living the life. So, you know, for me, but if I was mayor, you know, it's going to hit you differently. And I understand that. But as a citizen, I just want to know if, as long as these people are legit, you know, that I would want the data, I'd want it out there. And if people start using it for other things, we'll just have to fight, I guess, or do something different in terms of saying, why did you say that about that? You know, or those kind of things, and just fight it, you know, is the reality. So if this is a legit group and the science they're trying to get, you know, is responsible stuff, I say do it.
Yeah, it's a predictive study.
And we're gonna have to, and God knows they may find something we need to know, you know, and like you say, I got grandkids gonna grow up in this town. And I want to know that things are safe for them, you know. You've lived how long?
72 years.
I've lived 65 and I'm, you know, doing great in Calvert City. I have total confidence. But if we really do have total confidence, we got a legit group, let them do it. Let's let them do it and gather information. And if there's stuff we need to know, great. And if it all comes out, things are good. It's going to be like that study I said, you'll forget it. Everybody will forget it. If it comes out, things are fine eventually. But you always have fear here. You have fear everywhere. You have fear about everything. And so certainly we have stuff to fear.
Yeah.
Chemicals can cause cancer at some point. We all know that.
This
And so this is just, this part of it's our beauty here. It's made Marshall County a wonderful county in so many ways. But yeah, there are risks out here. And I want to know what they are. One of the things that happened out of Kansas City is they are not out of that one, but after that, were you around for when they had to look at their worst case scenarios at the chemical plants, and all the chemical plants were so scared that the media was going to take it and run with it and talk about, oh Lord, if that happens, and that's all they were going to print. But that's not the way they handled it. They kept it completely open to the media and they presented it to them. I was on the CAT team, so we were looking at before it was released, and they were wanting to discuss it. Kind of things they were looking at: take their worst chemical, take all their safety things going down, all their safety systems breaks down.
When EPA came out with their
Yes.
regulation for risk management planning.
And it was great. It was great for the plants. They really made them look at issues about, okay, what do we do here? What's going to happen if this happens? How does this affect them and us? Big discussions and stuff. And they did the reports, and the media didn't crucify them. It's always a fear.
Well, I've got some answers for you.
Go,
First off, I recommend that you go back to the last council meeting,
okay,
watch the video
okay. Date, this month, August,
this month.
thanks.
Um. They came down with doctors and presented what they wanted to do. So, and I've had some conversations with a Dr. Smith, so. U of L as a group of people, the Center for Integrated Environmental Health Sciences. And there was a doctor, the Matt Cave, a gastroenterologist, who came down and spoke with council. And before him was a Dr. Smith. And what they've asked us to do, part of it is falling by the wayside. What they want to do is they want to sample the influent wastewater treatment. I want you guys to understand this because you know, you take the time to come down here and meet with us when we ask you to and really counsel us. And you need to, I want you to understand this. They want to sample the influent wastewater.
Tell me about the effluent wastewater.
Be a time for questions in a minute.
Okay.
So we sample wastewater influent. This is what comes into the wastewater plant. And we have a composite sample. And they want a sample of that. The initial ask was proposed without any contextual evidence of anything wider than we're doing virus studies throughout Kentucky of rural county. And then we find out later there's another arm of this, which is called wastewater epidemiology. And so basically, Dr. Smith's conversations, as I understand it, is a new field, it's a research field. It neither proves nor disproves anything. What they're interested in doing, so when you take a drug test, most people are somewhat familiar with the drug test and say they're looking for marijuana, say they're looking for THC. Your analysis will show metabolites of THC. So that's what your body has done. And then this is a conversation that I think Dr. Smith even had with us. So what they're looking at doing is they're looking at monitoring the city's wastewater influent. So basically, instead of individuals or even individual homes or even individual businesses, they're looking at the accumulation of everything flowing into the wastewater treatment plant. And there's new technology, says it's purely research. And he said there's a bright line between the virus studies, which they were originally asking for. That has been discontinued. I found out at the last council meeting. They said that the state of Kentucky, they're not doing that right now. But they still want to further this research field. So it's analogous to, if you're going to try to explain it to somebody, they want to give the city a urinalysis, the whole census of everybody. And everybody wants to start talking about the stuff that the plants are not going to be part of this. Occupational health by statute, where their money flows from, NIH, if they get their next grant, they cannot study occupational health. The government says it's not. That the citizens have been exposed to hazardous air pollution. And then whatever a human body does with it would show up into our wastewater treatment. So they're wanting to do research in there to see if that's a plausible marker, if that's something we can do. And I have been told that, you know, any idea of someone trying to use that to leverage his way into proving one thing or another is far too early in the science to do that.
Correlation versus causation.
Can't really do it. They want to learn more. It's interesting. The analysis, they were talking, I forget the analysis, mass spectrometry, I think, but please don't hold me to that. And so when you talk to the various people here and whether you should support that or not, you get into what we're talking about probably more in this meeting is how it is perceived. How is it understood? How is it perceived? And that for what would be the positive for Calvert City? How does it protect our citizens' health? How does it further the science? Is that something we should want to participate or not? Given how things go, study after study, I think it's interesting to the WPSD had some video and had a couple of segments on the news. And of course, if you go to their website, you can see some socials, how the social media responds to stuff like that. And it's, people don't understand, and people aren't gonna understand. So they're down here, trying to get some grant money to try to further the science, okay? But the
From the NIH, or are they trying to get grant money?
anywhere they can get it, that's one of the applications they've made. Is NIH is one of the funding opportunities that they've made application to. There are more than one, I'm sure. So I think that, I really haven't waded into their world.
Right.
There's a NIH fund, there's a super fund research center, and all kinds of things. Now,
All government?
I didn't hear any private grants that I recognized. I don't know. So this includes a four-pronged study, the study of the wastewater. So, they do have some wastewater systems they are sampling. There's some that they're sampling actively in this area. So also doing,
Livingston County, wasn't it?
I don't know. I don't know the details on that. I really don't. So,
What about
So-
anonymity? Am I saying that right? Basically anonymous. Have they said we're doing this or we're gonna publish? Well, Calvert
don't-
City
it's-
has this and Paducah has that.
it's research. Who knows where the trail will lead them. But along this thing, I just encourage you to go watch the councilman. They did a
Okay.
pretty good job at it. So they're looking at a human health study with volunteers to have their human health evaluated. They have reports from bird kills. And I haven't had any reports of bird kills. I'm sure there must be pictures of some kind of bird kill that somebody's allegedly said is result of hazardous air pollution. Proof that we have it going on here. When you look at the benefits versus the negatives for the community overall, and how this information is used and stuff, that's what we have to be concerned about. So, and they've raised the heat up a little bit with some coverage and stuff, and pushing forward. I think that probably some of the fears, and I'll call it concerns or fears, is the misconception of what's going on or what it'll prove or what or not prove. The people doing the study will have told me point blank, it doesn't prove anything one way or another. But we're trying to further the science. Well, why wouldn't you want to be involved with something like that? Well, the reason why is that who's trying to spin what story into what. You got people who want to hear a certain thing, and they're going to hear that when the news comes out, whatever it is, and who knows what it will be. So that's what we're talking about. And they kindly asked permission to sample. So another thing is, well, we'll leave it at that. So that's what it is. I mean, they're looking for metabolites of hazardous air pollution there. And one of the concerns for me is we're talking in a scientific environment, and the results of the EPA's air quality assessment is just brushed over as a pretty involved report. And they said de facto that you have an increased incident of cancer rates in Calvert City. And they had 3 monitors, and it's a pretty complicated report. And when you make that statement, is it factually incorrect? Well, not really. But it glosses over a lot of different stuff when you just say that. The
Did
results of the
they
air-
quoted a study that said
Well,
that?
when they talk about the air quality study, they just say very plainly that EPA's air quality study said there's an increased risk of cancer in Calvert City.
Is that true? Have you
The
looked at the
report,
study?
the report did say that, and yes, I have studied the study.
Okay,
And I can give you a link to it if you'd like to do so.
I'd love to read it.
Okay.
We'll talk.
You might want to wait till the fall when it gets too cold to golf, maybe.
That long?
It's pretty long. So there were 3 monitors involved in that, and I certainly don't want to I'm not the expert on that study, but there's 3 monitors. One was across the street from the industrial site, one was in the industrial neighborhood, and one at the elementary school by federal EPAs really didn't show any heightened awareness. But it swept up in the study with the other 2. So it's interesting. So anyway, I don't know, don't wanna beat a dead horse, but that's what it is. They're asking permission to do something that it really wasn't clear to us in the initial ask, and now that we understand more. There's a lot of stuff going on to the outside, and so it's, you know, and the notion that, you know, some people have, you know, people picking up the phone, and asking help. They're asking help for something. So,
What I worry about is that I do worry about the science. You know, because, you know, you say you got more cancer in Howard City, and then you have somebody that lives here but works somewhere else, and then they get pulled in to a medical record that gets pulled in. Bob, I mean,
I'm Bill.
Bill,
I have 4 brothers.
I had a B and
I understand.
it just. I just wished I could have a lot of confidence that somebody was really interested in moving the science forward and not interested in publications to move themselves forward. And I've not found that a lot in the publication world, and I've probably been published as much as 30, 40 times punished in peer-reviewed articles. You just worry about that, you know. So what are the other variables? What's the average age group? How many people that have cancer were smokers? And
Yeah.
they pick and choose.
Cancer doesn't come just from.
Yeah, they just pick and choose too many times, you know. I worked in a plant, been covered up with asbestos many times because we didn't know it was bad. We used it to wrap parts that were exposed to extremely high temperatures. And so it come in a big roll. We unrolled it. I was a maintenance guy, and you go up there and you wrap that pipe and you secure that to protect the pipe. Well, nobody knew it was, and I've been white with it. So if I come up, I've got 2 nodules in one lung now. If I come up with that, is Calvert City responsible for that? Or was it something, an unknown factor within a plant site that was? That's what I worry about, because you get this funnel. And when you do research, you're trying to funnel this down. You usually start out with a hypothesis that you're either gonna prove or you're gonna reject. And what you put in the top of that funnel and the processes you go through to get to the end of it makes all the difference in the world as a researcher. And
I understand from the cancer side. I would hate to pin us on this issue
yeah.
because cancer comes from a lot of sources for sure.
well, and again, this wastewater study is not directly linked to, cancer. It's more trying to see if continuous monitoring of the wastewater influent would be indicative of your population being exposed to hazardous
made to the science or to the general knowledge about what you're going, and that is all of your research. That's all the thing. You build the stage and then you conduct this test. So why was that included?
I think I would have to go back and talk to the good doctor. He was explaining why they were here and why some citizens were calling for help. So it's almost like two different things going on. One is the actual ask, which is to split samples of wastewater effluent. What are you going to do with them? The broad general description of what that is. And it's in the context of something else that the very first slide at a community meeting was of Calvert City's sign and of one particular plant in our industrial complex. So it's like,
Yeah.
so it's odd.
I think Livingston County, if I was gonna look for something like that, that'd be a good place to go where prevailing winds are at. And who catches the most fallout.
Back when I was on the CAT team, Kentucky Calvert Advisory Chemical Plants put it together after all that bad publicity came out. And they very quickly got Livingston County involved. I don't know if they had them on the front side.
They're
But because of that
prevailing winds,
reason, the prevailing air is going that way.
Yeah, Back in the
water's
day
going
before
with it.
air pollution, when I was working at that plant, if you got any doubt where that was going, you could see it going over there, you know? So. But all that said, and I just want to be clear, I'm sympathetic of where you're placed in this.
Yeah, yeah, and it's not to be taken lightly, and we'll figure out what the best move.
Best move.
And once we make that decision, I think you have every reason to expect us to support you.
All right, let's move on with our agenda. We got one other item that I need to get approved. We received a quote from the Kentucky Rural Water Association, and Gene and I called and talked with Bob Miller, who was here before and with us. He is, of course, very knowledgeable in that, and we had a lengthy conversation with him and went over some things with him, and he has prepared a proposed rate study quote for us, and would like to get that approved so that we can move forward, because the council has asked us to take another look at the rate study. And you didn't put one of these in everybody's agenda packet, did you? No, okay. The rate study cost would be $11,250, and that would include his analytical work, his trip down to meet with us and talk with us, and so I think that's what we need to approve so that we can get that rate study started and take another look at it. Our position here as a board is an advisory board. We need to get all the information together, and then we don't make a decision whether we're going to raise the rates, lower the rates, change the rates, or whatever. That gets passed on to the city council. So it's up to us to listen to the people who are knowledgeable in that area. We may not like what they say, but at the same time, we need to get all that information together and then present it to city council and then let them make a decision. Bobby's doing some work on side costs of things that happen that we're not getting paid for now, which would not be necessarily built into the rate for the water, but it's costs that we're incurring. So we're trying to get a whole package together, present that to city council, and then let them make a decision as to what they need to do. And Mr. Miller was very willing to come back and talk to us again and fill us out, and he'll take our information and put together a package that we can look at and review. Is that pretty well covered, Gene?
Yeah.
Yep.
So we'll tell him what we would like to do.
Tell me
He did-
about,
He did promise some resources on looking at what's customary charges that other big people do. So on, these things like charging for emergency sprinklers, fire sprinklers, and other things that we do. I mean, if you're utilizing a resource, it's up to Bobby to produce 1,000 gallon of water as cost effectively as it can. And if we are not charging for things that are being used or given freely, I think when you evolve from a small municipal that you know everybody and we can do that for you and all that, and you evolve to a little bit larger situation. And we're not trying to add a bunch of labor into this equation, but we need to start realizing fees that are associated with something that's other than producing 1,000 gallons of water. See, we can get them paying for themselves and not really looking to just, invent things to boost revenue, but we do need to be in the marketplace where it's correct. And city council has historically, when I've been on there, been proud of the fact and really somewhat sensitive to the fact that they want, when people are evaluating where they're going to live, they want the price of our utility system to be very competitive. And they are willing to provide assistance to us in the form of tax money. And that's pretty unique, and I think it is pretty unique throughout. Now, does that mean because we have a rate study and recommendation, you flip violently to the other side, and we're gonna recoup every dime out of every utility revenue source? Well, that I think that the council, well, I know that the council has ultimate say in that. But, you know, we need to be knowledgeable enough about the schedule of fees and where we lie on the cost per thousand, that we can give them something to work on. And, you know, at one time, it was before I was on the council. I don't know, Dan can attest this, but when we passed the CIP to get it to be automatic by ordinance, that you didn't have to go through and ask for special permission, that was seen as a big improvement. And maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I don't really have a good handle on that. But the percent increase of that market basket of goods that makes up that CIP index is not necessarily the same ratio as what we encounter in our system. It was a positive move, but I think it needs more. So, but you had a question.
Well, a comment, we had this man come and give us a thorough study 4 years ago, 3 years ago,
23.
23. Could we not review it and give a recommendation based on it?
It needs to be upgraded
Because,
because it's 2 years old. Have changed in 2 years.
okay,
If I could suggest one things I think will help us make a better decision and recommendation is, do we have a pretty solid 3 to 5 year capital expenditure plan? I know we've done an enormous amount of work down there on pumps and trying to get the system more dependable. And we still got work out there to do, so I
That-
think it's more than just producing a gallon of water. It's what are our capital needs over?
Well, that's one of the things that we as a board and has dropped by the wayside somewhat. Because when Roger was here, he maintained a 5-year capital plan and worked on that, and we have not followed through with that with the lack of a water board not a
Manager,
water
yeah.
board, a
Yeah,
water manager or whatever, so that's kind of dropped back. We attempting to try to do some work along those lines now with some of this future studies and things I keep putting in the agenda, but we haven't got there yet,
Yeah.
Steve, so.
I think that would
Bobby
be-
knows some of the things that we need to do, ongoing, I think, but,
I think that would help Mr. Miller too, you know, because that's where we get in trouble quicker than anything, is when we've got $100,000 expense we wasn't expecting.
yeah, and the other thing is we gotta think about is too, the grant money that we've been getting is also going by the wayside.
That's right.
And we're gonna have to start dipping in our own pocket to.
Yep.
Pay for the LWD cutoff road or the. Bringing the water down Oak Park from around the corner, and it's on the agenda to do some of those things and.
And so, you know, what is the projects we're talking about with the Kentucky Dam and other places? As that rolls forward, then what does that do within the system? So I think that would be, if I were gonna go for a rate
And he
study,
will
I'd like.
probably be asking about some of those things
Okay.
as he puts together the numbers for us. So.
I think that would really prepare us. Bobby, I probably need some engineering help on that maybe, but you know, if you go like that and you're talking about just production, but also future needs.
Yeah.
I think that would be very helpful.
just one other question that may not affect, we may be doing this expenditure other ways. But we have at some point had a major study on a water plant, a new water plant. And we talked about, well, we could just maybe retool our current water plant.
Right.
Have we come to a formal decision on that or?
Pretty much, I have. I mean, I'm not sure what the city has, but I mean, with all the work we've done on the water plant as
Right.
it is, we're
Yeah.
pretty well
Dual system and all those good
tuned
things.
Yeah.
tuned up to pretty good for a while.
That's, I was just curious. I didn't know if we'd had an answer on that or a plan moving
I
forward.
think it became obvious that we couldn't do 10 million, $12 million,
Yeah, without a major,
20
Some
million
kind of
dollars,
major
whatever
campaign.
that number is.
we just need a major donor and just name it after him. It'd be fine. The Dan
Oh,
Seals,
okay, sure. You're the
Dan
one that's got
Seals
the money.
Memorial Water. Filter Plant.
Not that.
I know you know a lot of.
There you go.
I'm not a billionaire like somebody else I know. I don't manufacture electric cars. I play in the trash, the garbage.
I think, and the mayor mentioned it a moment ago when we first started talking about this, I think we also need to consider other examples such as the sprinkler availability, things like that, so that with some of the local businesses, so that the citizens aren't paying to cover those types of things. So I think that needs to, there are
Be worked
potential for
into
revenue
the,
there. We discussed that quite a bit earlier, but I think that's another factor that's in play as well.
right.
I think also, Dan, we talked about expanding the sewer service soon to our citizens, Calvert, and I think that carries a little bit of wind with it.
Yeah, and that's something that's gonna cost money. We've
It's
got to
got
come
big
up.
cost to it.
Yeah,
And that's what we're trying to expand. I think it's a strong argument.
yeah.
Sure.
Okay. All right, so y'all are in agreement then to go ahead and to spend this, for this rate study and prove that. So,
Provided we can get some of the information to him that he needs, rather than just,
we can do that.
than just our budgets that we're looking at here, so.
You know, I mean,
Some
we
of
can
the
get what he needs.
changes, some of the capital improvements, we may need more of a rate increase than we know, once we get a bunch of 3 and 5 year projects out there. So,
Yep. So, okay, all right,
Well, part of the Strand report did have, the impact on a per 1,000 gallon basis.
Hmm.
For the various options they proposed.
Hmm.
And so the opposite is true too. I mean, we've got a berm. And we're making an application to put a berm around that infrastructure.
right.
We've been without a manager. The forward-looking 5 year plan is where you suffer the most on that. So we've been able to hire consultant engineering through Rivercrest. And I think they've done a good job. They're well versed. They were highly thought of from several communities. But that's different than having your own capital program. Involved out. He can help us build out anything we want.
We got that large tank out
Yeah.
there, given expansion,
Right.
do we need another one, and does that,
And
what
so-
kind of shape's that in?
And so, through COVID and then just the whole pile of grants that came down and being reactive to agreed orders and the big wastewater headworks project.
Mhm.
It's been very busy and, can't blame COVID on everything, but it gets distracting away from, looking down, and that's where this group of people needs to go. So, I'm not an accountant like some people, but the depreciation I'm well aware of, and it's just a bunch of assumptions.
Mhm.
And they're good ones. They're based on fact. Stuff
Mhm.
wears out. What's your
Mhm.
depreciation rate? You gotta be able to make up. Well, how are we gonna make up? Well, we don't know, but we have faith we're gonna have to. Well, I've got this 5 year plan. So
Okay.
that's better than just a straight
Right.
appreciation. So, how that's used in your rate studies and how we can use that, I don't think we should, we should have that 5 year plan,
Mm.
and we need to work on that. We haven't got it right now. And I don't think we ought to let that get in the way, but I think when you consider that depreciation piece, you kind of have to build it in. I mean, the only way we're gonna get that water plant is get really active on seeking grants.
Mhm.
And that rate study, just not the rate study, but the plant design, you remember the age on that? It's got some age on that.
it's got some age.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
probably four
Yeah,
years
I've got a
plus.
copy of it at home. I don't know where it is. I mean, I don't have it with me now, but it's,
Yeah,
There's no way I'll find it. It's on this computer.
it was, well, actually, how long have you been mayor?
Well, now you're getting personal. 4 years.
Four, okay, so it would have been 5 years old then, because it
Yeah.
started with Lynn. So,
yeah.
I'm thinking it could be 6, but
yeah, could be.
there's a Strand report that Each of their, well, we need to.
And Roger was here at the time,
Study
too,
that, yeah.
so Roger's been on.
So they were looking at the strand plant was looking at pulling hardness out. That's the worst thing with Calvert City water that people dislike is the hardness.
Yeah.
And then you look at what it does for your price per thousand, you realize pretty darn quick that folks who really want to get out the hardness thing would, those that want to do it need to go get a softener system. There's been vast improvements that you get your household softener instead of us making the decision to do it for the entire community.
Right.
And then when we do it, depending on the technology, you got a choice. You're either gonna pump a lot more water so you can flush out your hardness to the waterways, which is legal. There's some practical limits, I'm sure. And I'm not well versed on what those are, or you're trying to remove it and then you got a pile of calcium out there
Mm-hmm.
that you need to find somebody making gypsum board or somebody needing that stuff, or you got a waste problem.
Right.
And that really piles on to your cost per thousand.
Gotcha.
Deal with that. So
Yeah.
in the strand reports, those are really the things that kind of get you down to. That was a big dream and it's a great dream. But it comes with cost, a lot of cost, because our aquifer that we pull from is our part. And it's west of the hardness. And you gotta deal with that.
One of the other things that we talked about on that is the level of hardness that we would be getting down to is not sufficient for most of the industrial facilities to be able
Right.
to take advantage of it. It's still too hard for them.
Even if we filtered it. So there you go. That was one of the considerations why we do it in the first place, wasn't it?
You got nowhere near the mark of what you needed for that.
All right. Any other? Bill, you done?
No. Down in my neighborhood, it's, Lady Karen Royal Place. There's a smell down there when I drive my golf cart by, kind of like a sewer smell. Might check it out. Just, you know, I catch it. Sorry, going to play golf. So sometimes in the morning there,
Yeah.
you know,
Where at exactly?
you know, where Bruce Lyles has some gravel there. There's apartments, where the old Western Auto.
Okay.
was, behind there, behind those apartments.
Mhm.
Right up to maybe Billy Hodges' house,
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Lady Karen, Royal Oak, down in that, maybe another street there. I can't remember.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. For instance, Jennifer's where we're at.
Okay, and so just at the bottoms there,
Hmm.
I smell the sewer smell, not every time, but
I'll tell you.
enough that I've noticed. So I don't know how that works. I don't know if you can address it.
Yeah, I can check it out.
Appreciate it.
Cause it does run down, it does run straight through there.
Exactly. So it's, you know, and maybe the apartments are draining that way. I don't know. That's a separate thing.
I know, yeah, Calvert Apartments, I think throws theirs over that way.
So, yeah, just something we need to think about. It's not a pleasant smell. It's a great neighborhood through there,
Yeah.
you know, great, you know, stuff, but it's not great.
Yeah, we'll look at it.
Thank you.
Mhm.
That's it.
Michael, you?
All I had to say was I had the opportunity to kind of go down Little Rock Lane and talk to some of my neighbors and just with in like 10 minutes, there's about 5 people back there that said they would love water. So there's a few more back there, but there was at least 5 that immediately said, yes, when can we get it?
Well, I sent Rivercrest a note to give us an engineer proposal.
We need to get that done and spent by 26 according to Chad, so.
26, year 26.
Fiscal year.
29 next year, so
Okay.
that
Right.
works about right, time to get your
Yeah.
engineering proposal,
Yeah.
gets it all laid out, approved. Very nice. Okay. Bruce, how are you? Good, anything? Okay, Steve, anything?
I've said no.
Bobby? All right. How about a motion?
I'll second the discussion. I have one comment. I love Calvert City.
Yeah, I do too.
Appreciate you. Appreciate your
I
staff.
do too.
Appreciate you guys, the maintenance, just everything. It's just, my son's in the middle of projects. His
All
house.
in favor, say aye.
Ah,
The city does their thing when we ask them to. And so thanks, guys.
Thank you,
Thank
Ashley.
you for your work.
we had a guy. in
Thank
family in
you.
California, a couple, 3 weeks ago or something, looking for property. 2 weeks to come back.